Dear you, he came back the way they always do, not with honesty, not with clarity. He came back with nostalgia, with memories wrapped in soft voices and late night texts that started with, I was thinking about you. Isn't it funny how they never think about you when they're breaking you? Only when the silence finally gets loud enough to scare them. I was standing in the kitchen when his name lit up my phone. The evening sun pouring through the window like warm honey across the counter. The smell of coffee still lingered in the air, even though I'd brewed it hours ago. My life had gotten quieter lately. Not lonely, peaceful. There's a difference you don't understand until you've lived through chaos and survived it. He didn't apologize. Not really. He said things like, we both made mistakes and we were young and life got in the way. Life didn't get in the way, you. Choices did. He talked about how much he'd grown, about how he finally understood what love was, about how nobody ever knew him the way I did. And part of me, the old part, leaned forward, the part that used to translate crumbs into feasts, the part that thought potential was a promise. He said he wasn't perfect. He said he still had things to work on. He said relationships were hard. He said trust takes time. What he didn't say was accountability. What he didn't say was ownership. What he didn't say was the truth about the woman who wasn't me. He wanted another chance, but not another responsibility. And I realized something terrifying. Every time he spoke, my shoulders tightened. Every time he laughed, my stomach clenched. Every time he said my name, my breath shortened. My body remembered what my heart had finally healed from. I wasn't excited, I wasn't hopeful, I was shrinking. And love, real love, doesn't make you smaller. Dear, we met for coffee because closure, dressed up as curiosity, is still closure. The cafe was quiet, soft music humming beneath conversation, sunlight dancing against the windows like nothing painful had ever happened there before. He looked good. They always do when they want something. He talked about his job, his plans, his future. He spoke like a man building a life, and like a man who wanted me to slide neatly into it without asking where I'd been hurt. He reached for my hand like it was familiar territory. I pulled back. Not dramatically, not angrily, just instinctively. And that's when I knew. He was talking about us like a story that paused, not a story that broke. He said, I don't want to lose you again. I asked, lose me from where? He blinked. Silence sat between us like truth finally having a seat at the table. He said he wasn't ready for labels, not ready for pressure, not ready for expectations, but ready for me, ready for comfort, ready for connection, ready for access, not ready for the work. And suddenly every memory lined up differently. Every argument, every excuse, every late night, every moment I felt like I was asking for too much when I was really asking for the bare minimum. He didn't want partnership. He wanted presence. He didn't want commitment. He wanted consistency when it was convenient. He didn't want love. He wanted the feeling of being loved. And you listen to me, there's a difference that will save your life. As he spoke, I felt myself disappearing into who I used to be. The woman who softened her needs. The woman who explained disrespect. The woman who waited for change like it was a season that would eventually come. I saw the future clearly this time. More confusion, more lonely nights in relationships, more apologies that never turned into behavior. And I realized something I'd never understood before. Healing doesn't mean you stop loving someone. Healing means you stop abandoning yourself to keep them. Dear you, I didn't argue. I didn't list his mistakes. I didn't defend my growth. I simply said, I feel smaller when I'm with you. He laughed a little, like I was being dramatic. That laugh told me everything. Because a man who values you leans in when you're hurting. A man who benefits from you dismisses it. He said I was overthinking, that love shouldn't be so serious, that we should just see where things go. And suddenly, I understood the lesson life had been trying to teach me for years. Some people don't come back to fix things. They come back to see if you'll accept less again. He wasn't my past knocking for forgiveness. He was my past checking if I'd grown. And this time, I had. I stood up slowly, heart steady, voice calm, spirit clear. I said, I love who I am now too much to return to who I was with you. He looked shocked, not hurt, not sad, surprised, because he expected access, not boundaries. He expected comfort, not courage. He expected the old Harper. And you, choosing yourself, will always shock the people who benefited from you not doing it. I walked out into the sunlight feeling taller, breathing deeper, lighter than I had in years, not because I won, but because I finally stopped losing myself. Self-love isn't bubble baths and affirmations. Self-love is walking away from what feels familiar when it costs you your peace. Self-love is choosing growth over history. Self-love is realizing that just because someone wants you back doesn't mean they deserve you again. And the hardest truth of all, the moment your life really changes isn't when someone leaves you. It's when you decide you will never again leave yourself.